Aloha and welcome for Maui Nonprofit Notes, where each week you will find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Base Yard. And tell the guys over there, Paul and his staff, that you heard about him on Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks, everyone. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. For those of you who may be listening for the first time to this weekly show, during the hour we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. And today we've got, actually I think this is the first time we've had your agency on the air.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, this is great. We have Danny Riggs, who's the Clinical Director for Child and Family Services, the Maui office, or Maui, what is it, Maui District?
Maui County programs.
Okay, so you take in the other islands?
We include all of the islands of Maui County, yes.
Wow, okay. So how big a staff have you got?
We have about 35 to 38 people here on Maui. We have about 7 people on Molokai, and we don't have any permanent staff on Lanai, but we do outsource or subcontract some work on Lanai.
I see. Wow, that kind of starts to give us a little bit of scope as to how massive the problem is, because your core services involve?
We mostly work in the areas of child abuse and neglect, domestic violence and the support of domestic violence survivors and their families, and then in the area of sexual assault. We also do some work with at-risk youth, and really working to be the heart of the community in Happy Valley.
There you go. And your office right down in Happy Valley, right there at the corner of, what is it, Mokuhau and Market Street.
And that was a very active choice for us. You know, at one point we were located on Derry Road, and,
right.
and another time we were on Waikea, in this very pretty building on Waikea. But
that was an architect's building, wasn't it?
It was.
And it didn't depict what you guys do at all.
Not at all. And now we're embedded in the community. People know that they can walk next door, literally, and receive services, find support, connect to people who care about them. So it was a very conscious choice to move into Happy Valley.
Yeah, that's great.
Be part of that community.
Well, I remember coming in the door of your place, what's it been now, 2 years ago, I guess, when we were announcing our housing project, which is just 3 doors down from you on Mokuhau, and just kind of trying to see if there was support from your agency for what we were trying to do, and was very welcomed to be there and happily discussed what it's all about, and hopefully we'll start building those houses here in the next few months.
We're really looking forward to it. Pastor Greg Delacruz, who is part of our organization, actually did the blessing for that property, and it really. I think what we are seeing in Happy Valley at this point is a bit of a revival, and your project is certainly in keeping with that, part of that revival.
Right. Well, we're hoping that will stimulate some activity on the part of some of the other homeowners in the neighborhood to maybe spruce up a little paint here and there, and trimming trees and grass and so forth. But, it's been interesting because an awful lot of people who have applied for those houses are people who grew up in that area, and they can't wait to get back. And that's totally the opposite from what a lot of people think about Happy Valley.
We run into it all the time. We have people coming for site visits or, from Oahu, and they're coming home. They're coming home to Maui, or they're coming home to Happy Valley, and they're really, it happened yesterday, actually. We had a site visit from some of our core members with Neighborhood Place. And one of the young men, his girlfriend grew up on Maui, grew up in the neighborhood. And so he was there, and he's saying, "Can you invite me back more?"
I know, it's the sense of neighborhood. I mean, and obviously Neighborhood Place is a perfect name for what that organization did. And you've taken that under your wing as part of your activities now, right?
Neighborhood Place is part of Wailuku, is part of Child and Family Service. And We do a lot of work with traditional cultural Hawaiian values. We have a wonderful class called Kamalama that's open to anyone in the community who wants to learn parenting from the point of view of traditional Hawaiian values. So how does aloha impact your parenting? What does kuleana really mean for you as a person in the community and as a parent? So that's a very popular program, and we also actually do that program in the men's prison as well.
Oh, interesting.
So we're really believe in engaging in our community all across the board.
Right.
And then we have individual coaching as a part of that for people who want to strengthen their families, strengthen their relationships, work on their own issues. We do community-based parenting, play group, kind of learn how to play with your little keiki. And we do some work with at-risk youth through that program as well. So it's a really broad-based program that seeks to connect to the people that we're next to, the families we're next to.
So the title of the organization, Child and Family Services, that's what it's all about.
That's our focus.
For sure.
And I think one of the things that's true about us as an organization is we try to be that as an organization for the people who come in our door, but we also try to be that for the people who work for us and who are really our work ohana.
I think before we came on the show, we were talking a little bit about what you do and how you do it, and you made a comment about how the people who come to see you, that's why you're in the neighborhood, so that they can come next door and ask for help. They're not calling a phone number somewhere out someplace. Maybe somebody will respond, maybe they won't. They walk right in. And you made the comment about, here comes this sweet young little girl who is strolling around while her parent or whoever brought her in is talking to one of your counselors. And you take a look and you say, oh my gosh, what happened to her?
Yeah. The thing is our offices are kind of a classic old Wailuku-based thing where there's what was a storefront in front and a house in back, and the house in back is where we have our therapy and counseling offices, and my office is back there. And you see some really cute little kid walk down the hallway, and you know that they're either the victim of child abuse and neglect, that they are in a family where there's domestic violence going on, or that maybe they have been sexually assaulted. So that's our day in and day out of our community and what we know is going on in it.
Wow. And I had asked you at that time, what does a clinical director do? And I loved your response. It's you're the person that takes some of that load off of these people and helps them to understand, not these people, but your staff, and teaches them how to handle this on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis.
Yeah, there's a whole field called vicarious or secondary trauma, where, if part of your work is that you are constantly exposed to the stories of other people's trauma, eventually that starts to cling to you. It starts to become part of your story too. And you have to learn how, if you're going to stay in this field and work in it and thrive in it, you have to learn how to be able to cope with that. And how do you do self-care? How do you really focus on your own needs? How do you, I find myself, I love kids, and I do a lot of work in the area of sexual assault. And I'm a male, so I'm always a little bit aware. Do I approach a strange child,
right,
or do I hold back?
Right.
Or,
there's a thing there. Yeah,
how careful do I need to be in any given moment? I certainly don't want to give a parent the wrong impression, and at the same time, I might want to help a child who's lost or, struggling in some way. So it's a powerful and important field to be in, but it comes with a cost too.
Right. The covering sexual assault and it's I'm thinking about next month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and one of the things that we always make jokes about it. It's a how-to month, but it's not. It's a how not to, or how to become aware of this happening to someone, and to try to find help for them or the family. Is this something that an outsider can help with?
Absolutely. The more all of us build awareness that, we don't like to think we live in paradise, right? Bad things don't happen here, right?
No.
Yeah, except they do, right? And we know that. And so the more we build awareness, the more we're ready to accept and to listen to our victims. April 6th is a very curious day. There's a new organization. It's pretty much international, but it's Start by Believing.
Oh.
So if someone comes up to you and tells you that they've been sexually assaulted, start by believing.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we'll do a lot of events during April to help build awareness. On April the 4th from 11 to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll have an opening ceremony and some events at University of Hawaii Maui campus. And the mayor will be there at 2 o'clock to sign the proclamation for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And so that'll be our kickoff. That's our launch. And then, as I said, April the 6th is Start by Believing Day. Then towards the end of the month, we're going to kind of bracket the month. At the end of the month, we're going to show a video, very powerful video. It's called Shots. It was produced by the Hawaii Coalition Against Sexual Assault, HCASA. And that video really is about the use of alcohol as the number one sexual assault drug.
Really?
Yes. We think of all the others, right?
Right.
But it turns out that when you look at the statistics, it's alcohol. And it's about the whole issue of consent in alcohol. And the fact that when someone is inebriated, there in fact is no consent. Consent isn't legally possible.
They can't give it. Yeah.
They can't give it. So it's a very powerful video. It's really designed for older teen to college age, 20-something kind of population. It's based on a true story that happened on Oahu.
Really?
Yeah.
A local story.
A local story, very powerful. And then we're going to hold some discussion groups, some small groups for people to talk about the impact and the issues, and also in case anybody really gets triggered by watching the video from their own stories. And we're going to end with a wonderful, but again, powerful video by the Start by Believing group. So we'll bracket the month with that. We're going to do a safer, since we're looking at alcohol, we're going to do a safer bars night. I think we're going to focus in Kihei. The Liquor Commission has bought onto this idea. So we're going to go out and train some staff about how to really watch for what the signs and symptoms of someone using alcohol to perpetrate a sexual assault is.
Oh.
And be available just for people to talk to about the issue.
Wow, that's a unique idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
So it's about developing respect.
Right. Interesting. What a concept. That's where it starts in many cases. The evening starts out, it's a nice evening, and it goes downhill from there.
Yes.
Depending on how long we stay at the bar or
Right.
how quickly the effects of what we're drinking take hold.
Which is usually quicker than we think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors to find out how they are helping change lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today we're talking here in the first half hour with the clinical director Danny Riggs of the Child and Family Services, and learning a lot about what they do. And the Sexual Assault Awareness Month is coming up, and some of the activities that are scheduled for that month. Now, you talked about the film, which is based on a true story from Oahu. Where is this going to be presented?
This is going to. We really, over the last couple of years, decided to partner with UHMC for a lot of our events and a lot of our focus. One of the things, we were starting to look at some statistics one day, and knowing that if the majority, the highest percentage of the population who are sexually assaulted are between the ages of 18 and 24. And we started looking at who was coming through our door. And we had lots of children who were sexually assaulted, fairly high percentage of teens, younger teens, and a lot of adults. But we really were that demographic, that 18 to 24-year-old demographic really wasn't there.
A donut hole.
Yes.
A group that doesn't acknowledge it.
Right.
Okay.
And so we decided a few years ago to begin to work with Eris Benang at UHMC to really form a partnership around issues of sexual assault and sexual assault awareness. And so all of our events except for the safer bars, because there are no bars on campus,
right.
but except for the safer bars, all of our events are at UHMC.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so that's one aspect of who you're helping, but you're open to all ages. I mean, it's anyone who either has had this happen to them or someone who suspects something's going on within their family or within their neighborhood can come to you and express their concerns.
Well, let me talk about what we do
let's do that.
For services. For one thing, we actually do a lot of prevention and education as well. So we have somebody on our staff who goes into the schools. School will call and say, I'd like a presentation. It's sort of a good touch, bad touch sort of curriculum. It's been updated, but that kind of an idea. And we go into the schools and present to children how to recognize sexual assault, what parts of their bodies are their parts of their bodies and are safe and, need to be protected, and have that whole talk with them. And we do, so that's one piece of what we do.
Okay.
We maintain a 24-hour hotline for our services. That hotline number is 873-8624. Here on Maui. On Molokai, it's 495-3340. So you can call 24/7 and talk to somebody and get in touch with some. Our main hotline worker has only been doing this work for 15 years. So she's really experienced. She knows a lot. She's really
She's heard all the stories.
She's been through a lot with it, and she's just really solid and really great. If someone calls and wants services, then we contact them with one of our crisis intervention specialists right away. Can do some short-term work around that. And if someone wants to or it seems appropriate, we provide long-term therapy as well. And
is
yes,
this at no cost?
we reserve the right for someone who has insurance that we're
okay.
that we're registered with to be able to bill their insurance, but it's at no cost to the client.
Okay.
So, but you're right. We work with anybody. You can be an adult who was molested as a child. You could be a recent rape survivor, or maybe you were raped 3 or 4 years ago and are a survivor and really finding the impact is horrendous and feel like you need to reach out and get some help. We work, as I said, a lot with children, both children who were sexually assaulted by a stranger or someone outside the family. And as sad as this is to say, we do a lot of work with children who were sexually assaulted by someone in their family. So, but it really is across the entire gamut of victims and family members. We do what's called non-offending parent work. It's pretty tough as a parent to suddenly how do you hold that? How do you begin to live into the fact that this precious child of yours has been horribly violated by somebody? How do you begin to live with that? So we do a lot of work with the parents of children who have been victimized, who are the victims of sexual violence. And we have a non-offending parent group that meets so you can learn that there are other people in the world that this happens to, but we also do individual work with non-offending parents.
Interesting. That's an aspect you never think about.
Yeah. It's the whole family.
The whole family's affected by it.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. You hear some people say, well, I'm just going to live with it. It happened. I'm fine. And then, as you say, 3-4 years later, something happens in your life, and it just swings right back to that event. And that's it, that you have been on a downward spiral since then, only you've not recognized it.
Yes, exactly. You look at the statistics on sex assault survivors. Rates of suicide or suicide attempts are about 3 to 4 times above normal. Rates of alcohol and substance abuse and addiction are 3 or 4 times higher than what in the average population. So it really does increase. And the other thing to figure into it is, our current statistics run that somewhere between 1 in 5 and 1 in 6 women are sexually abused at some point in their life.
My gosh.
So if you're in a room full of 20 women, if you're at church, if you're at the beach,
4 to 5 of them have been affected.
If you're at a gathering, and for men it runs about 1 in 19 to 1 in 22, somewhere in there. So it's far more prevalent than we've ever really understood.
Wow. Okay, I'm sufficiently depressed.
Well,
but on the other hand,
let me depress you a little bit more.
No.
Because one of the other areas we do a lot of work with is in domestic violence. And if you look at some of the recent work done by the Center on Disease Control, the CDC, they've been doing this little project called Connect the Dots. Well, if somebody's in a domestic violence relationship, what are the chances they've been sexually assaulted?
Pretty great, I would think.
Yeah. If there's a woman in prison, what are the chances that she was sexually assaulted before prison?
Okay.
About 80%. So our 1 in 5 suddenly jumps, So we look at traumatized populations and we suddenly start to see that, if you look at the whole general spectrum of the population and who's been assaulted, it's really high. But when you look at people who are in domestic violence relationships, or if there's substance abuse involved, if there's any kind of incarceration involved, all of a sudden the percentages just start to skyrocket.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm totally depressed. But I'm excited by the fact that your agency is here to help. And that depression disappears when I know that if I know of someone or I hear of someone, I can say, here's the hotline number, call now.
That's right.
Don't wait. Or if you're going this direction or you live in this area, just go down the street. They're right there.
Or I'll tell you even a better one.
Okay.
Take them by the hand.
There you go. Bring them in.
Get in the car with them. Drive on down to our office. Okay?
Right.
We really do believe in warm handoffs.
See, that's a great line.
Yeah.
I like that.
I can give you this card, right? I can give you the hotline card.
Right.
Right. What are you going to do with it?
I'll probably throw it in my briefcase and there it sits.
Right.
Until I clean out my briefcase and I go, oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to talk to Danny, or I was supposed to send somebody over there.
Right. But if I take your hand and say, hey, Susie, let's go to the office.
Yep. Then we start talking about it right now.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
we start healing.
Yes. It's interesting that you would say that, because it's one of the things I really like to emphasize to people. People think that healing starts when they see a therapist or when they see a professional. And I really don't believe that's true. I really honestly believe whether the person they report to is a school counselor or a Maui Police Department officer or a friend or whoever that one individual that they turn to at the beginning, if that person responds openly, listens, and starts by believing, then that's where their healing begins. It's in that moment with that first person. Yes, as professionals, we can do, we can go places, we can do different things and help people in different ways. But it's really each of us out in the community that makes a difference by starting by believing, by helping that person to get help.
That's the word of the day, right there. That's what it's all about. That's why we are a community, and that's what makes a community strong, is to be able to help each other in time of need, and accept, as you said, start by believing. This is not just a story. This is true. This is what's happening, and especially if that person has shown some change in their personality.
Yes.
Things like that. I mean, there's telltale signs that something happened at some point, that this person's not who they used to be.
Yeah, you'll see a child who's maybe is doing really well in school. All of a sudden, they're not doing so well. You'll see somebody who is maybe in their early teen years, and maybe they start wetting the bed or start being afraid to go to sleep at night. You see somebody begin to retreat inside themselves, and lose that sense of connection to the world. It was maybe very vibrant, kind of alive, full of a lot of mana, a lot of
Right,
life,
right.
and that suddenly starts to go away. You want to let the red flag go up at that point. You want to let yourself start to wonder, is there domestic violence? Is there sexual assault? Is there something going on in this person's life that's causing those symptoms and that retreat?
Right.
And chances are the answer is yes.
Wow. Everything you say is true. It's out there, and again, I say thank goodness there's an organization called Child and Family Service ready to help you through this, and bring you out the other side, and hopefully make you the person you used to be.
That's part of the. We've sort of talked about the heavy part, okay, and that's true, and it is. It's intense, and it is heavy, and the impact on people can last a lifetime. The joy of it is that sometimes we really get to, a lot of the time, in fact, we really get to see somebody reclaim their life. There's a difference between being a sexual assault victim and a sexual assault survivor. Someone who makes it through, or a domestic violence victim and a domestic violence survivor.
Right.
Somebody who really works hard, because it is hard work, but comes through the other side of all of that and ends up oftentimes actually being a stronger and more powerful person, and really finding themselves, finding that core of who they are. So that's the joy. That's
when we want.
When you see that child walk the other way down the hallway, not back in, the other way down the hallway, and you see that they're more resilient, and that they've gained some strength, and that they begin to believe in themselves again, and that aliveness, that vitality starts to come back. That's what makes your day.
Yeah, that's what makes your job worthwhile.
Yes.
That's the proof is in the results, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And helping these people. Gosh, this has been terrific. Danny, I want to thank you for joining us today. That's the fastest half hour there is in my book, is when you're on the show. So we'll look forward to having you back again. And with this month coming up and the activities you've got, once again, the phone number for your office.
So the hotline number is 873-8624. And if you're on Molokai, it's 495-3340.
And for your actual office, if they want to just call and talk story or find out if there's anything that you can do for them.
I should know that one.
You don't know the number.
I don't.
Hey, how about that? We got you. I will check it out, and before the show's over, we will give that number
I think the
out.
last four are 877. But that shows how bad I live on my cell phone. So
Yeah.
Well, Susie, I really want to thank you for having me here today, and the timing is so wonderful. Having it be, just as April is getting here and Sex Assault Awareness Month is coming, it would be great to come back sometime before October, since that's when Domestic Violence Awareness Month is.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about things from that point of view.
Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations to you, and all. Thank you for so many things that you do, and for focusing on this area of concern. And the numbers are staggering. It's a very depressing subject. There's no doubt about that. But like I say, the good news is that you're here. Child and Family Services are available to work with you, and just stop by their office. The office, again, is located at
392 North Market. If you're headed out Market Street, we're the last building on the right, the tan building, Neighborhood Place of Wailuku sign, Child and Family Service sign. It's easy. If there's no parking in front of the building, there's a parking lot diagonal to us.
There you go.
And
if you're heading up and start up into the hillside there into Waiahu Terrace area, you've gone too far.
yes, if you get to Waiahu Terrace, definitely too far. Turn around, come back and see us.
There you go. Thank you, Danny, so much, and I'd say have a great month. But there we go. The office number 877-6888. Close.
I was close.
The 877's at the beginning.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. That's what comes from having a great engineer who digs in and finds the answers for us. So we will talk to you again this year later on before October.
Great. Thanks so much, Susie.
Thank you, Danny. Okay, the second half of the show, we're going to shift gears a bit. We're going to be talking about kidneys. Your kidney, my kidney, everybody's kidneys. Some kidneys work, some don't.
Aloha.
Aloha. We've got Jill Holly here, who is the Maui director for the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii, the Maui chapter. You've got an event coming up Saturday that I think a few people have heard of.
Yeah, we're doing a really good job of advertising. And, it is important to thank you because, you do a lot of good work for so many great nonprofits. And I just wanted to take the time to say that. I really mean that. And I know you kind of cleared your schedule for us and for the Kidney Foundation, and I'm very grateful.
We did a little rearranging because there's no sense in talking about Kidney to Kind Day 2 weeks after it's happened.
There you go.
Because we want to get the folks down there so they can be tested. And I know, I've heard some great stories of things that have happened at that event. Kidney to Kind Day takes place at Queen Ka'ahumanu Center, right?
That's correct.
This is the 11th
year,
annual.
And I'm so proud of that. I mean, that says a lot. And we're going to have another one in September in Lahaina, but this is the main event. And this one is where if you're from upcountry or central Maui and even Kihei area, this is the one for you. Come on out. And it's going to be on March 26th. It's from 10 to 2. And it's going to be one of those events where we have live entertainment for the entire time. We're having a wellness fair, and I'll let you kind of go over the actual nonprofits because I wanted to send out a shout out. They come to our events and they give out great information. So not only is the National Kidney Foundation setting up a very big screening that is free to the public, but we also have these wonderful community partners that come out and they're ready to give you out information, to help you, assist you, and to promote their nonprofits. And this is just a win-win for families to come out and have this event.
That's terrific. So it's expanded from the basics of the kidney screening, but I know over the years we've tried to catch before this event so that we could tell people about it. But some of the things that have happened, like I know one year we got the report back that a couple came in, an older couple came in and said, "Oh, let's get tested." So they did the testing, and come to find out they both had kidney disease. And we're in various stages, but
I think the blood sugar was testing over 500, which is, the nurse was scared to death.
They rushed him right to the hospital.
I took him myself.
Oh,
I
you
sure did.
Okay.
Yep. And took him to Kaiser, and they were very. They didn't realize where they were at in their health. So I've not talked to that couple, but I often think about that couple. Wonderful couple.
I do too. I think, well, here's a Saturday morning. They're just having a good old time at the mall.
Right.
And they come in and be tested. And, without having that test done, being at that stage in the kidney disease, the process of the disease, their last day could have been quick.
Well, that's the whole idea. So if you're listening to us now and we're telling you about people who were really sick that didn't even know it, that's why we want you to come to our screening, because kidney disease is a silent killer. And what that means is that you don't actually know that you're having the symptoms until you get a huge revelation. Maybe you're going to have urine that has blood in it, protein in it. And at that point, you start questioning, and at that point, it's getting to the place where it's really difficult to assist you without doing life-changing events.
Wow.
So we're like, our part, just as most nonprofits want to get out there and be proactive, they want to be educational, and they want to do these screenings so that we can find people. And it's without a doubt, every time we do a screening, we find someone with early stages of kidney disease.
Wow.
Now, it's amazing because when we do find that, we don't leave you there. We have classes. The next month it's going to be in May, and it's a 4-part series. And we do proactive work that's going to help you from not going into a dialysis situation or, of course, after dialysis, a transplant situation.
Right.
So that's what the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii wants to do. We want to be your advocate, your friend, your best friend for that.
Right.
And, our statistics are changing.
Are they?
If you notice here, 1 in 2 are at risk. And we always talk about 1 in 7. Well, 1 in 7 is going to actually end up with kidney disease.
I
But
see,
1
okay.
in 2 now in Hawaii are at risk.
Ooh, ouch.
So, when we were talking statistics earlier, so someone in this room that we're sitting here with
There's
3.
three of us.
Yeah.
There
so-
were 4, so there was 2
Yeah.
of us potential. Ouch.
And the great thing is, let's say that you're not a person that actually goes to the doctor often, which, of course, I'm not advocating. But if you don't, and you want to come and you want to get testing, we're gonna check for glucose, which will help you with the information about diabetes. We're going to do a urine analysis, which will look for protein in your blood. We're going to do other things, the normal blood pressure and body measurements. And then the nice thing is that you get to go and sit in front of clinicians, doctors, dietitians, and nurses that will look at you, talk to you, go over your statistics. And at that point, if you're in need of seeing a doctor but you couldn't get a referral, not anymore. We've got the ability to give you the referral, to get you where you need to go. And, there's clinics on there that actually will also help with the financial assistance.
Gotcha.
So that's really good news.
Wow. And all this is being done by professionals.
Correct. And
The
by
testing
the
and
way,
everything.
that's a great point because
You know what? I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, and we'll finish that thought.
Great.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk about what the nonprofits in our community are doing to help keep Maui the best island, the best place to live in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And I think everybody in this room feels the same way, and hopefully everybody out there does too. We're talking about the Kidney to Kind Day, which is coming up on Saturday at Queen Ka'ahumanu Center. And we're talking with Jill Holly, who is the Maui director for the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii, the Maui unit or chapter or whatever they're called today. And we were discussing the testing that's done at this annual screening and how it's so simple, so easy, and that silent killer called kidney disease can be caught. And what do we do with it?
Well, you know, what I wanted to say before you took a break there is I wanted to take the time to thank the medical community, because we have a lot of people that come out, even, and we have the lab technicians from different places. We have people that are working at the dialysis centers. We have nurses and doctors, and they are very used to getting my phone call. And, you know, they're coming out and they're volunteering their time to come out and help Maui to be number one. And I just can't, and one other group is the nursing students at the college. They are always volunteering. They do need hours and whatnot, but you can see that they have a sincere interest. And so I just really wanted to, I say it every time when I write a press release about all these people, but I truly mean it. They're great, great, great folks out there, and we are very grateful. I have a couple of nurses that have almost been at every single one of our events.
Wow.
And, you know, I have a deep respect for everybody that helps us like that. They volunteer, and it's wonderful.
That's terrific. And we were talking earlier that you have expanded now this program, the Kidney to Kind Day, to include other nonprofits is in your health fair. Organizations like HMSA, Rosalani Place, Maui Adult Daycare, American Red Cross, Lions Club of Maui, Senior Medicare Patrol. Now that's an interesting one. Rainbow Dialysis, Organ Transplant Maui, Hui Ho'omalu, that's the foster parents organization, Malama Pregnancy Center of Maui, Legacy of Life, and Hospice Maui. Boy, that covers everything from birth to death, don't we?
Doesn't it?
In that,
Yeah.
so something for all ages.
That's a great group, yes.
It is. And entertainment by Kapahula o Maui Auntie Doll.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
She has a halal, and they're going to be entertaining.
Interesting.
And then there's a group out of Lahaina, the Ma'a.
Okay.
That's with Ua Bradshaw and his big group, and they work a lot with Hula Grill in Lahaina, and they
okay.
do a lot of productions and hulas and things like that, and they're going to come out and do all kinds of stuff for us. So, and then we actually have the DJ Cindy Paulus, who's going to MC our event.
Oh yeah, I heard a spot on the radio this morning by Cindy, not Sydney, Cindy, and she said, "Come join us there." And I'm thinking, okay, you're going to be there, but she never said she was going to be the DJ.
Oh, you know what? I have to give kudos to her, because she was a part of when this started 11
cool.
years ago.
That's great.
Before my time, and so she knows a lot about kidney disease,
Right.
over and over again, and we're always sending her updates on statistics and
Gotcha.
whatnot, which is a good thing.
Oh, wait, a minute ago when I tried to say Cindy Paulus and I was getting confused with Sydney. Sydney's also going to be there, right?
Sydney the kidney, he sure is. And you know, I guess him and the bunny rabbit, because it's Easter, they might hold hands or something.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well we got to check that out. So come see Cindy and Sydney, and maybe the bunny rabbit will hop across the stage. What a day! 10 to 2 on Saturday, March 26th, coming up this Saturday. Body measurements, blood pressure check, blood glucose and urinalysis check, and an exit interview with a clinician. Now, that's a vital part, because there could be signs of trouble ahead.
Well, you know, we always, as the Kidney Foundation, we're an advocate, but obviously we never want to take place more so than your doctor. So, yes, we always support their work, and that's why we want them to check out and look at something, because you can see things. And there's going to be statistics on your paperwork. You're going to come and register, and you go station to station to station, and we get all this good information, and then you can sit in front of someone who can tell you, you know, this is okay, but this looks a little troublesome.
Yeah.
So let's see what we can do about that, and because that's what we're here for. We want you to have better health. We give you an opportunity to come out and do this all for free.
Right. And you call it the silent killer because it masks similar things that happen with other illnesses that you have.
Correct.
It could be a cough, it could be a sore throat, it could be a headache, it could be a fever. You may think you're coming down with a flu, but it doesn't go away.
Or, yeah, and you're just feeling just kind of miserable, but you don't know how to, what the diagnosis would be or how to tell someone. And, diabetes and high blood pressure are the two indicators for kidney disease. It's not 100% that if you have it, you're going to get kidney disease. Maybe if you for sure live to 200 for sure. But if you do have those things, you should definitely be the person that's coming out here. And if you're not doing your testing with us, you definitely need to be doing your testing regularly. I would say every 6 months.
Right. Okay. And that's with your doctor.
Yes.
It's a simple blood test.
Correct.
You ask, and you can say to your doctor when they're getting ready to do like your annual physical or something, you can say, oh, do you have such and such a test on there? What's the name of the test? I forget.
The GFR.
There we go, the GFR. And I don't have to say it anymore to my doctor because she automatically puts it on there.
Well, that's wonderful, and that's what we want. And we actually, part of the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii is that we do have staff that goes and meets with the doctors and this and that, because you know that when you're going in for your annual, they're going to check for diabetes or maybe your blood sugar, but it's not necessarily that they're going to check for kidney. If you discuss it with them, they will. If you have insurance, it's part of a normal checkup. But you just need to make sure that check is on the lab slip. So that's another thing that we try to do as advocates of getting out there and making sure that the doctors are doing that. And why? Particularly in Hawaii, because 1 in 7, and because of the nationalities that tend to have kidney disease. So
right. And those nationalities are Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders, Filipino, and Japanese. But that doesn't mean anybody else is free of it.
That's correct. That's correct. And you know why? Because let's talk about taking prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs.
Interactions.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you can't process it, and your kidney. It's going through those little filters, and then the filters get clogged up. Now they're clogged up, and now you're starting to get your kidney disease. And you have 2 kidneys. You can live with 1 kidney, but you definitely need a kidney. So that's the whole thing, and
right.
And it can happen at any age. It does tend to happen at an older age, 60 or older. But I do have calls from people that they can tell that they're going to have problems during pregnancy. That they know the child's going to have problems upon birth.
Wow.
So I mean, it doesn't have a label. It can go everywhere.
You know, when I first started doing this show, we're talking 5 to 7 years ago. I was kind of the fill-in for the first 2 years, and then I took it over when that person left the island and left nonprofit work. But it got to be almost funny because I do an annual physical. And as I'm doing this show and talking to people like you, it's kidney. I talk to the Heart Association, it's the heart. I talk to somebody about lungs. I talk to somebody about this and that. And I would, for my next physical, I'd say, okay, are we doing a test for this? And are we doing a test for that? And she finally got to a point after a couple of years, she says, okay, who's been on the show recently?
I can imagine.
And so it's like, okay, now I look at that list and it seems like it goes on forever, but it's not really. I mean, at one point I said, how many of those little tubes of blood are they going to have to take to do all these tests? Well, so many of them come from the same specimen. So it's not like you're giving a quart of blood to do all these tests. It's very painless. It's easy. It's simple. And if things start to change, your doctor has right in front of them on the screen what it was last time or what it was the last 3 times. And they can see if there's something going the wrong direction. Perhaps you can stop it before it becomes a full-blown case of something.
And, no matter what, your life is your responsibility. And so you should be proactive. And so good for you.
Well, there's just certain things that they're so simple to do. Why not?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like trying to defy it or something. And my family has had the rounds of certain things, and I'm now the senior member of my family. Yeah. And it's like, wait a minute, that can't be.
Well, you know what? One thing for sure, you're not in denial. And see, a lot of our people that, like, when I tell you that we'll do this screening, and we'll probably screen about 100 to maybe 125, and of that, we'll find maybe 20 people with signs of kidney disease. And those people, it's very hard to get them to come to my classes because they don't want to believe it. So
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. But the tests are out there. Please, if you don't make it to the Kidney Decline Day this Saturday from 10 to 2 at Queen Ka'ahumanu Center, please, next time you go see your doctor, ask her or him to run the GFR test
wonderful.
and check out your kidneys and see what's happening. Because it may be a silent killer, but a killer no less.
Again, I can't thank you enough for having me on, and you're so good in changing the schedule and for letting everybody know to come to this free screening.
It's some things are important.
Well, thank you.
What else can I say? Thank you so much, Jill, for joining us. The office phone number, if you want to get a hold of Jill, is 986-1900.
Correct, and the website is www.kidneyhi.org.
That's KIDNEYHI.org. Thanks again, Jill.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see you on Saturday. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. And if you see an agency there that you're interested in learning more about, go to their website and check them out, or give them a call and talk with them. It may be a volunteer opportunity or a donation opportunity, or just more information for you for your future. Today we visited with Child and Family Services, their clinical director, Danny Riggs. And they can be reached at 877-6888, or if there's a situation going on with abuse happening now, give their hotline a call, and I'm losing that piece of paper, 873-8624, right here on Maui. Again, the hotline is 873-8624. In the second half of the show, we visited with Jill Holly, who's the Maui Director for the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii, and talked about the Kidney Decline Day coming up this Saturday. And to call her and ask her some questions one-on-one, that number is 986-1900. Mahalo for tuning in. It's been a busy day. Don't forget to join us again next week right here on Wednesday at noon on KAOI Radio, 1110 AM, 96.7 FM, and 96.5 FM on the west side. We'll feature representatives of two other agencies next week, members of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great week, everyone. Have a nice Easter weekend. Aloha.